All right, now for our third debate. Pencils are more efficient than pens. Our Prime Minister Dean will speak for 2 minutes.
Madam Speaker, members of the House, pencils are more efficient than pens. Now, I won't define this other than to say more efficient than is better effective use of time. Now, pencils, which are your graphite writing instruments, firstly, have a built-in eraser. And for those who remember the paper-made erasable pens, they're still around, but they're not as popular. Bic pens are the most popular, the standard ink pen. And when you make a mistake with an ink pen, you have 3 choices. You can either leave it and hope nobody notices. You can use liquid paper and deal with the gunky mess that may or may not harden in time to cover your mistake. Or you can scribble it out and leave a glaring mess. Now you imagine the people who are writing documents, they don't want gunks of ink on their documents. Pencils are great for keeping things cleaner. Now, the opposition member may claim that he doesn't have to worry, he never makes mistakes. But I think trying to actually debate this topic is the biggest mistake of his for this particular evening. Secondly, those of you who are planning to travel in space, ink pens don't work in gravity. So pencils work fine. You can use them. Chris Hadfield was taking notes with his music with Ed from the Bare Naked Ladies and making his chord progression changes that way. Thirdly, what happens if a pen leaks? All over your pocket, your shirt, your coat, your whatever, papers, complete mess. Pencils, you might get a bit of a mark, you can erase it. Lastly, you can see how much is left. A pen, you might not know how much ink is left. You're in the middle of a fantastically important meeting and you're out of ink. And your brain isn't working. Ladies and gentlemen, pencils are more efficient than pens.
Thank you, Dean. And now to speak against the motion, our Leader of the Opposition, Dante.
It offs me to see that there are some with the intention of stopping the wheels of progress from proceeding. It is tonight that I will solemnly defend the pen as the advancement that this society has in its handwriting tools. I would do this by emphasizing 3 points in which the pen is superior in efficiency to the pencil. I will then go ahead and tell you just exactly why the government's arguments today are unfounded and without merit. Now, the pen provides higher adhesion to a wider variety of surfaces. And you can write not only on on paper, but also in the palm of your hand. You can write anywhere. Being said that you don't need to waste the time to find this paper in the same way that pencil at the moment requires you to do. Its durability is unmatched by pencil. If you drop a pencil, its lead on the inside will crack, leaving you to an unsuspecting failure waiting to happen in your future use of this pencil. Preposterous. Finally, it's its independence. The pen will continue to work until the cartridge it's fully emptied, while the pencil, if it stops working, immediately depends on a pencil sharpener. That is not efficiency, my friends. Those are the 3 points why I believe that pens are the next step in the evolution of handwriting utensils. Now, to the government's points. The government, having a certain knack for cleanliness, forgot to tell you that pencil, more often than not, creates smudged, non-permanent impressions on the paper that it intends to communicate with. This is not acceptable and further contradicts the government's views on pencils as being the clean utensil that they portrayed them out to be. It's a hypocritical stance that the government would take while the main utensil he's using to write down his notes is a pen. I cannot see this argument standing. I cannot see this hypocrisy continuing. Finally, the government went ahead and told you a tale of how the astronauts use pencils in space. Well, while yes, it was true for a while that pencils were the standard use, writing utensil use in space, it was discovered that the graphite shards which conduct electricity get caught in the electronics, leading NASA to spend thousands of dollars on developing a space pen that is now the most efficient handwriting utensil on Earth, given that it can write in any angle, in any situation, does not get stuck in the same way that a ballpoint pen does, can write underwater, and furthermore requires no, is erasable, by the way, and requires no sharpener. This is the wheels of progress. This is why pens are more efficient than pencils.
Thank you, Dante. And now the Prime Minister will speak for 1 minute.
Madam Speaker, just to address a couple of the points raised by the opposition leader. Firstly, one, I'd like to point out that if I do happen to lose this debate, it's because I had to use a crappy pen to take my notes. Had I had a pencil, everything would have been fine. Secondly, he claims that this new space pen is the most efficient tool on Earth. So think about that. It's a space pen, but it's the most efficient tool on Earth, ladies and gentlemen. So you can trust his logic only so far. And maybe there's a need of sharpening of other things besides pencils. Ladies and gentlemen, the last thing too is I will offer to you that pencils come in a range of colors. And so if you need to keep track of certain things on paper, whether it smudges or not, likely the best way to do that is with a colored pencil. So rather than having to dig out markers or try to figure out 15 whatever colors and what this, you have clear color indications. Pencils are more efficient than pens.
Thank you, Dean. And can I see a show of hands for the motion? And against the motion? The motion is carried. Dean wins 10-5.